Can you predict how many Family Guy episodes have aired since the last time you saw an American win a Formula One race? Each and every episode. The United Kingdom and Germany have won a total of 22 Formula One driver world championships. F1 has grown in popularity to become one of the most popular sports on the planet. However, there is one exception. F1 has consistently struggled to win over one nation of motorsport fans, the United States of America. The Formula One group obviously wants to change that and has set out to conquer the United States. But how does a sport with few ties to America compete with IndyCar, NASCAR, and baseball? Welcome to Behind the Sports Channel. In this video, we uncover how Formula One plans to take over America and whether rediscovering an American F1 driver is the key to success. Liberty Media, the American media corporation that bought Formula One in 2017, has been working hard to popularize the sport in the United States. Our objective in the future will be to be more present in the United States, says their CEO. It's still in the works, but I can assure you that Formula One has sparked a lot of interest in the United States. F1 is unquestionably more popular than it once was. However, there was a time when the majority of Americans mistook Formula One for a specific kind of baby food. The more you know, the more you enjoy. Liberty Media's strategy for capturing the American public can be summed up in a single sentence. Formula One recognizes that, through watching the races, fans are continually expanding their understanding of the sport. The more intellectually and emotionally invested we are in the races, the more fun we have from watching them. If you are unfamiliar with Formula One, you may become bored after watching someone drive around in a giant can of Red Bull for a few minutes. You might want to stay around and watch what happens if you're already aware of how tire tactics, weather circumstances, and inter-driver rivalries can radically influence the outcome of a race. Formula One has created a variety of tools to help educate Americans about the sport and pique their interest in attending races. Formula One has become the fastest-growing sport on social media thanks to Liberty Media. F1 provides millions of potential fans with a crash course in everything they could ever want to know through post-race analysis, interviews, highlights, and technical analyses. Formula One has you covered if you enjoy watching documentaries and talking about them with a group of mildly interested buddies. Netflix's Drive to Survive series is a huge phenomenon throughout the world and has shown to be extremely effective in attracting new fans to the sport. The series makes F1 incredibly accessible to everyone and provides amusing insights into how the sport operates. Intimate interviews with at-risk driver Nico Hülkenberg and trailing his everyday life as he tries to obtain a seat for the following season, for example, are used to highlight the complex and often cutthroat driver transfer market known as the silly season. Another strategy to attract new fans is to bring the action right to their front door. By staging a bigger number of races in the United States, Liberty Media hopes to increase American awareness to Formula One. The Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, has hosted the United States Grand Prix since 2012. The United States Grand Prix in 2012 was the first in 4 years. This break was prompted by a drop in interest, as well as the fact that the fans at the 2005 Indianapolis Grand Prix booed for the whole of the race. The addition of a second U.S. Grand Prix at the Miami Hard Rock Circuit is finally added to the calendar for the year 2022. This was not a small job to do. Several attempts to find a second race in the United States failed, and the Miami idea was faced with stiff resistance from locals. At the end of the day, it's still a success and a positive indicator for F1 in America's future. On-site races are one thing, but broadcasts are the only way to reach truly large crowds. When Liberty Media took over Formula One, they chose to cancel a $40 million 5-year deal with NBC. Why? Because they were starting their own streaming service with a membership model. F1 wanted to compete with the TV channels that were paying them millions of dollars. This proposal was, predictably, rejected by NBC. Liberty Media responded by giving ESPN the rights for free and launching F1 TV. F1 recognizes that free material is more likely to be consumed, and it uses ESPN to provide fans with an entrance point into the sport. Fans can purchase a membership to F1 TV to obtain access to exclusive material not seen during live broadcasts, such as unique camera perspectives, exclusive data, and non-stop team driver radio communications, once they've been hooked and pumped full of information using the tools indicated above. Increasing the number of tracks and increasing involvement via education are both effective measures, but the lack of U.S. drivers is one of the underlying reasons why F1 has suffered in America. Would an American F1 driver increase the sport's appeal in the United States? There is a lot of data to support a yes answer to this question. National heroes like Christian Pulisic and Yao Ming are ideal instances of how national heroes can improve a sport's appeal in their home countries almost immediately. When Christian Pulisic joined Chelsea in 2019, the Premier League's American following exploded. The debut of Christian Pulisic for Chelsea versus Manchester United established an NBC record for the most views of a football match in the United States. Even more remarkable, in the United States, Pulisic sold more replica shirts than Cristiano Ronaldo throughout the 2019 to 2020 season. The impact Yao Ming had on the NBA's popularity in China is probably even more amazing. There are currently over 600 million Chinese basketball fans, and China is considered the NBA's greatest international market, after joining the Houston Rockets in 2002 and becoming an 8-time NBA All-Star. Is it, however, applicable in Formula One? Take, for example, the instance of Robert Kubica. His comeback to the sport in 2019 resulted in a 256% boost in viewership in Poland. Take, for example, the situation of Max Verstappen. The number of Dutch fans of the sport has increased by 30% across all groups. In total, 2 million Dutch people tuned in to witness Verstappen win in Mexico, accounting for 11% of the country's population. An American driver would be the ideal hook for potential F1 fans who aren't familiar enough with the sport to fall in love with it. So, it is pretty clear that having an F1 superstar driver, like Lebron James in USA, would be the solution for Formula One popularity in USA. Does the idea of gaining US support by educating potential fans work even without an American driver? Since 2017, Liberty Media has seen a modest rise in F1's popularity, and TV ratings are also increasing. Viewing ratings for the 2021 season are said to have surpassed 1 million. However, when compared to the Premier League, the much-lauded 1 million viewers have room for growth. According to NBC, around 10 million Americans watch Premier League football, with key matches involving Manchester United and Chelsea attracting over 1 million viewers. In the first year, though, only 10,000 customers signed up for F1 TV. Liberty, on the other hand, is taking the long view. Morgan Stanley estimates that by 2027, nearly 250,000 Americans will have signed up for F1 TV. With close rivals IndyCar claiming over 69 million fans across the country, there are chances for considerably larger expansion. However, this demonstrates that F1 is attempting to enter into a competitive market and win over spectators who have grown up with a motorsport culture that is not necessarily associated with Monaco or Azerbaijan. The present strategy of Liberty Media has proven to be pretty successful, but the sport still has a long way to go before it can compete with IndyCar or the Premier League. The introduction of an American driver would offer Formula One a huge boost in the United States, but that is easier said than done in a country eager for more investment in its karting infrastructure if it ever intends to produce a world champion.